Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar. Today's topic, Business Information Server 49R1, Turn Data into Business Insights. Let's get started. Our speakers for you today are Arun Ravindran, Eric Horner, and Navneet Kumar. And Arun, the audience is yours.
Thank you, Matt. Hello, everybody. I'm Arun Ravindran, BIS Product Manager, and I'm really excited to take you through BIS Information Server 49R1 release. So let's get started. So this is the agenda for today. The first 45 minutes, we will be presenting the contents of this presentation, and the last 15 minutes would be for the question and answers. The structure of today's session would be roughly what's on the screen. We'd be showing you a product. We'd be talking briefly about BIS, which might be familiar to many of us, but just as an overview. We'd be talking about the roadmap for the product in the future. We'll also be talking about the release highlights and going into a fair amount of technical detail about each of the features. And finally, we'll be talking about the product services around BIS. So BIS, or Business Information Server, formerly known as MAPper to many of you, has a very long heritage. A lot of us have understood BIS to be an integral part of our business infrastructure. In fact, BIS has been a very suitable solution for a variety of use cases. Some of us term BIS as a database. Some of us use it for data visualization, for business intelligence, and some of us use it like a scripting language. So what is BIS? BIS is all of this and more. BIS is like an engine for turning your raw data into actionable information. In fact, one of the unique capabilities of BIS is that it is a tool that end users and developers alike love it, and they find it highly productive for building end user applications. It has a unique client-server model that helps it to collect, organize, and derive insights from an era where we are inundated with data and information, and we would like to gain business insights from it. So do not be at the mercy of your development team. Take charge of your business data and develop useful applications from it. As many people comment about BIS, it's a fairly unique product, and some of its characteristics might seem to be technically impossible to people who are not familiar with BIS. This is a very unique and commendable aspect of BIS. If you look at what BIS is usually used for, BIS is typically used for data analysis, in which you can perform all sorts of scenario-based planning, what-if analysis, data munging, to understand what kind of information is being presented to you. It is also multi-platform. We are today talking about BIS for the OS 2200 operating system, but we also have OpenBIS for the Windows and Linux platforms. It has a very robust set of development tools, which we try to keep updating so that it's familiar to developers today, and it is at par with any development environment, any modern development environment you have today. BIS also helps you to integrate with your storage, with your sources of data, which could be databases like Oracle or Sybase or Informix, and breaks down the silos of information so that you can make applications which previously could not talk to each other, make them interoperate. What's in store for us in BIS 49R1 release? We have brought in a lot of performance improvements in this particular release. More importantly, BIS 49R1 is filled with features that you, the users of BIS, have been asking for us. We use a channel called NFS, which is the new feature suggestions, to incorporate all the feedback that we get from the field and try to incorporate as much as possible into the next release. So many of these performance improvements come from feedback from you. We have also implemented support for IPv6. As we know, IPv4 is quickly running out of addresses. IPv6 has not only more addressing schemas, it is also more secure and more modern compared to IPv4. We have also brought in numerous enhancements and improvements to the developer workshop, which still remains to be one of the most productive and rapid application tools that you have, so that you don't waste any time waiting for that compile or debug or find any features which are lacking compared to the modern development environments. We have also made improvements to the DynaBIS report generation interface. We have brought numerous improvements to the JavaScript to make it compatible with the JavaScript standard. We have also modernized various database tools with a graphical front end, and a lot more, of course. Just to give you an idea of the BIS product roadmap, last year end, around September, we launched BIS 13.1 for Windows and Linux operating systems. It had a set number of unique features as well as common features with this release, which is BIS 49R1. Today, we are actually launching BIS 49R1 for OS 2200. This would be available for order from today. You would see all the product documentation available, and as well as changes on our external websites. After this month, which is end of January, we plan to end the support for release 11.1 and 47R1. So if you are on any of those releases or older releases, we strongly recommend you to upgrade to BIS 49R1 or BIS 13.1, depending on your operating system. Going forward, the next release you can expect in the latter half of 2019, which would be BIS 14.1 and BIS 50R1. I know you're excited, so if you don't want to wait till the end of this webinar, this is how you can get started. If you're an OS 2200 user of BIS 14 and you want to get BIS 49R1, please talk to your sales representative, and if you're already on maintenance, you'd get a free upgrade. If you're an OpenBIS user, you can download the 13.1 evaluation version directly from our website, which is unisys.com/BIS. You should be able to see the download links and start the evaluation. If you'd like to know more about the technical details, more than what we are covering in this webinar, please go to your Unisys support site based on your credentials, and you should be able to see the 49R1 documentation. If there's anything else that you find lacking or you have any feedback, please write to us at bis@unisys.com. Through this email ID, you'll be able to talk to us, our teams, and we'll be trying to address your concerns as much as possible. Please remember, your feedback is really appreciated and it helps us to make the product better. Now, to give a more technical overview of BIS 49R1, let me hand over to you, Eric.
Thank you, Arun. My name is Eric Horner. I'm the team leader for OS 2200 BIS development and support. And today we'll be talking about several major changes that have happened to BIS 2200. The first one is database report segmentation. This is a major change to the report structure in our internal files. We also removed a major roadblock in the DFU before look table, which had caused system stops in the past on very large systems. We also streamlined the audit trail write system by eliminating internal buffer copies. All of these features are enabled finally when you turn on the compatibility level of 49. and that implements a feature we call report truncation, which significantly reduces the amount of I/O that's performed on line changes or line deletes, especially for large reports. This does have both positive and negative performance impacts, although overall we have seen a few percentage points of improvement overall. Overall, we have a lower I/O volume associated with our report updates, but we do have a higher number of smaller I/O requests. In the audit recovery area, we have implemented a single pass long recovery. Previously, we made 2 passes through the audit data, which obviously takes significantly more time than it would take to go through the data once. This is turned on with the compatibility level of 49R1. In addition, we've reduced the audit trail volume for some of our report updates. This goes along with the report truncation feature, and again, it's only available if you turn on compatibility level 49. One of the issues that this change in our database causes is that upgrades or downgrades from 49 require a long recovery. In BIS 49, we now support IPv6 on most of our network interfaces. This gives you all the benefits of IPv6, and as Arun mentioned, we all know that IPv4 is running out of addresses, and at some point in the future we aren't going to be able to use it anymore for new systems. We did not implement this for the DTM interface. It still only supports IPv4. Another feature that we implemented in 49R1 was the TDATE remediation. This is an effort across all ClearPath systems because the TDATE time and date format basically expires on January 1st, 2028. ClearPath version 17 supports the new format, and that handles dates into the year 24 or 44, and these are enabled by OS configuration. CP17 uses the new date formats in the master file directory, and CP18, which is released soon, uses the new date and time formats in program file tables of contents, and BIS supports both of those features. We've also made improvements into the domain logon feature. We support with GIBIS a simple sign-on where GIBIS sends along a copy of your Windows logon credentials without the password, and then we use those credentials to log you on to 2200 BIS. This also was implemented in Windows and Linux BIS version 13. We've also enhanced the diagnostics for the domain name logon to help us help you get it to work better. We've made significant changes to our utility runs. The list is here: add user, alarm, mapac, print form, schedule, and UQ. We've added GUI front ends to all of them so that they're easier to use. We also added the colors feature, which has existed in the OpenBiz for many years and allows the user to easily configure the colors that their GIBIS session will use. Among the common features between OpenBiz and 2200 BIS is the developer workshop, and we've made many improvements into that this year. One of the biggest changes we made was in the developer workshop was a forms designer for DynaBiz, and this allows you to use a what you see is what you get type form layout and create your own GUI interfaces. We also allow you to view and edit arbitrary reports inside of developer workshop. The report doesn't need to be opened from a folder or a project. You just go into the menu and open any report you'd like in the database, and any report that's opened in this manner functions as any other report opened in the workshop. We've also improved non-fatal error handling while debugging in the workshop. It gives the session more control of trapped errors inside of the debugger. It allows the user to set how an executing script in DWS will handle exceptions. For example, you can cause it to break on an exception, which will open the workshop inside your run script. You can have it notify you but not stop, or you can have it just ignore the non-fatal exception. We've implemented many new window docking capabilities, but probably the biggest of those is we've allowed report windows, edit windows to be floating rather than docked, and this allows you to have multiple edit windows open so that you can see the contents of all of them at the same time. We've also removed most of the edit docking restrictions that have previously existed in the workshop. You can now create personal folders in the Workshop Explorer, and this allows you to have a collection stored on your own PC rather than in a project folder that's stored in the server. And it allows you to group your development environment better for yourself. We've also implemented the ability to execute a utility script from in the workshop. This allows you to run a script that takes no user input, but it does allow you to have some control over it through keyword parameters like active report and $line and the current column that was open for that report. And you can use this feature for lots of things. We know some sites use it to compile their scripts because they have they use keywords in places to represent large chunks of scripting language, for example. We also have now allowed you to import and export workshop extension connection information. This allows you to save the workshop configuration for one user and reload it on other users' machines so that it's easier to maintain the same connection list across multiple machines. And finally, we've implemented many drag and drop improvements in the developer workshop. This only works for nodes under the same connection. You can't drag and drop from one connection to another, but it does allow moving or copying a report node between projects and folders. You can use Control or Shift plus the click to use different methods of selecting data. We also added a variables check debug window checkbox to toggle whether we do automatic or manual refreshes of variable data. We did this because refreshing the debug windows could use a lot of your time, and if you don't want them automatically refreshed, this allows you to prevent that. We've made significant improvements to the JavaScript also. we've made support for the JavaScript object notation, or JSON, and this allows you to have the JSON object, which acts as a namespace for the stringify and parse methods. Stringify takes an object and serializes it, and parse takes a JSON formatted string and returns the value of the string represents. In addition, we've included new string and math object methods from the JavaScript standard. In string methods, we have start with, ends with, repeat, rtrim, ltrim, and string.format. In the math methods, we have math.cabort, math.clz32, math.expm1, math.hypot for hypotenuse, and several others. You can find these by looking at the JavaScript standard or in our help documentation. Further common features for between OpenBiz and 2200, we implemented a start line for the result function so that you can create a result from a report that starts at a specific line. Say if you only want the last 10,000 lines of a result. We added a report field specification to the combo box, and this allows you to take a single field from a report and use it as the drop-down list for a combo box rather than a whole report. And this allows you to avoid significant editing of that report you started with before you do the combo box. We changed cal and @cal to support fields that were greater than characters. We gave you an option on @count to retain all the fields in the result. And this allows you to use count to calculate things in one or two fields like you would normally want to do, but give you a result that does contain all of the fields from the original report. A significant compatibility command that we introduced in this level is the : options directive. What this does is allows you to have better compatibility between your OS 2200 biz and OpenBiz runware. So you can write a run much easier now on the 2200 and move it to OpenBiz or vice versa. As part of this, we implemented on the 2200, we implemented temporary variable value formatting so that you can for example, pack a variable or write justify a variable temporarily without actually changing the contents. We implemented the implicit W option on add-LDV, which allows you to load the value of a reserved word. And we implemented output area reserved word value substitution so that when you're creating a new result in the output area, your reserved words just substitute, whereas in the past you would just get the value or the name of the reserved word. We also made a major improvement in RDI and MRI DBA and updated them to use a GUI interface. This way you have a much more modern looking interface to RDI and MRI DBA. And we implemented BIS statistical utilities that do many types of calculations. We do moving averages, linear regression, and exponential smoothing. And these are implemented as LiveDrawer script subroutines. So they're registered by name and you can just call them. And that is the end of my portion of the talk. I will now pass off to Navneet.
Thanks, Eric. Hello everyone, I am Navneet Kumar and I am the product manager for ClearPath Forward Services. In this section of presentation, I am going to talk about various BIS services available at your disposal. As you can see in this slide, we have a comprehensive services portfolio for BIS. To help you with BIS journey, we have upgrade service, application modernization service, application development service, and education service. I will elaborate each one of these in coming slides. Upgrade service. Upgrade service helps you in upgrading from older BIS version to the latest BIS software release in a manner which minimizes time, cost, risk, and also accelerates your time to market with new business requirements. Some of the key activities performed under this service are reviewing the latest BIS software release with you, configuring BIS installation with the necessary database files including audit file, testing and verifying that new BIS system is up and available, migrating database cabinets from old BIS to new BIS, refreshing the data reports on the new BIS system. By leveraging this service, you will have access to the top level expertise and best practices gained from guiding numerous upgrade projects around the globe. Application Modernization Service. BIS provides significant capabilities to easily modernize your existing BIS applications or integrate them with other non-BIS applications and databases. You can provide modern user interfaces to your existing BIS applications or develop new ClearPath OS 2200 Windows or Linux-based application with modern user interfaces. BIS Application Modernization Service will assist you in modernizing your BIS applications by providing consulting, advisory, application development, prototype creation, and implementation services. Some of the activities performed under this service are identifying application requirement and the scope of the services, performing modernization activities as mutually agreed, performing prototype creation if applicable, reviewing performance requirements and sizing, and defining the training requirements. As part of key deliverables, we will do demonstration of modernized application and provide recommendations for further development. Application Development Service. BIS Application Development Service will assist you with the development and enhancement of your BIS applications. The objective is to help you in transforming your applications by providing trained and experienced BIS developers for your BIS application development and enhancement activities. Some of the key activities performed under this service are determining the requirements for the application development, identifying requirements for workload, output, input, interface, and data volume, designing and coding the applications, performing review and testing, and defining the training requirement. As a key deliverable of this service, you will get a completed and enhanced application ready for production. Education service. Unisys provides several courses to train you to effectively use the unique features and capabilities of BIS. We offer standard courses as well as customized training. For example, we have courses on BIS manual functions, BIS run design, BIS administration, etc. Trainings are provided in different modes such as flexible classroom training, self-paced training, and video sessions over internet. Education service will enable BIS skill development and product training with best practices, tips and techniques. So we have discussed 4 BIS services in this section, but if you need help with any other service, we will be glad to work with you and address your requirement. With this, services section of presentation is over. I will now hand over to Arun for next section and concluding remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Navneet. Thank you, Eric. An announcement for the attendees. Just for your information, if you have any questions, please go ahead and type your questions in the chat window. It could be technical or otherwise. We have an entire team here. We'll be happy to answer your questions. So in the last section is about further resources that you can use to learn more about BIS. And as you know, many of our users have an insatiable thirst for knowing about BIS. So we have provided a wide range of resources, both for reading as well as for viewing through videos or recordings in any format that you prefer to learn. On the screen is a list of links to the latest 10 BIS white papers. They are fairly technical. We would be circulating this presentation after this webinar, so you can have access to those links as well. In case you would like to know more about the launch related or the release related information, the external web page, the BIS web page is live now, so you can actually go online and read more about BIS, be it the product specifications or the brochure or any of those information. Furthermore, the recording of this presentation, as Matt described, would be on the YouTube channel, Unisys YouTube channel for ClearPath Forward. We would be also circulating the link to the recording in the LinkedIn groups for BIS and ClearPath Forward. If you're interested in other interesting collateral related to BIS, we'd like you to know that recently McAfee produced a technical white paper on our security assessment, and this is a very interesting read for those of us who would like to know more about the security features provided by the platform. As I mentioned, we do have a dedicated ClearPath YouTube channel at youtube.com/UnisysClearPath. There is already a wealth of recordings about BIS and about the platform, ClearPath OS 2200. In fact, recently, ClearPath Release 17 or CP17 as we call it, associated with that release, we had posted about 27 videos that go into a fair amount of detail about various capabilities of the platform. So we look forward to hearing you and your comments about these videos in the respective platforms. With that, we conclude our presentation. If you have any questions, like I said, please go ahead and use the chat window. We'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. That does bring us to the Q&A portion of today's presentation. We have had a few questions come across from the audience, so we'll just go ahead and get started with those as some of these others come in. First question that I have is BIS 49R1 available now?
Yes, Matt. So As of today, we have the BIS 49R1 release available for ordering and updates.
Oh, I'm sorry. The next question we have, and I believe we just covered it, was where will the recording be posted? And that is at the Unisys ClearPath YouTube channel, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. The next question that I had is, do you have any computer-based training?
So is this specific to your requirements, or is it a general computer-based training? Because we have, Navneet, do you want to take that up?
Yeah, it depends on which topic client wants a training. We can revisit that and come back to the person like what topic they want training on, and we can check whether we have the content ready or not. If required, we can have a classroom session.
Excellent. We'll see if they respond with exactly what they're looking for. Oh, just came in. For instance, BIS run design and scripting.
So I'll need to check on get back to on that.
All right. And the next question I have is the technical documentation available?
Yes, Matt. So the technical documentation is available on the support site. A very basic overview is available on the external website, which is our unisys.com site. And like I said, the links to all the white papers would be provided, so that would give you information on specific topics of interest.
Excellent. Thank you. And then that does look like most of the questions that we have had come across here. So I guess I would just like to turn it back over to Arun or Eric for any closing statements that we might have for the audience.
Thanks, Matt. Like I said, this conversation, we'd like to continue this conversation with you through email or any other channel that we just described. If you have any questions even further after that just occurred to you, please write to us at bis@unisys.com. Thank you so much for joining today's session. It has been extremely fun taking you through the release and talking about BIS 49R1. We urge you to try 49R1 and let us know your feedback. Thank you so much.